Speaking of Nashville, last night, a reporter asked President Biden about the attack there, specifically about why the shooter chose a Christian school.
You believe that Christians were targeted? I have no idea. John Colley believes they were. What do you say to that? Well, I probably don't that. Probably don't. I have no idea.
Well, not much in America is sacred anymore. Faith used to be one of those things. Evidently, emphasis on the used to be part. Erick Erickson's here, host of nationally syndicated show, The Erick Erickson Show, author of one of the best morning newsletters in American politics. All right, it's good to see you, my friend. Thank you. Okay, is faith now on the table?
Yeah, listen, I think we're in a post-Christian society. Even a lot of people who claim to be Christians are in their bass boats on Sunday. They're culturally affiliated with the church, but not actually there.
You brought up this tweet that has since been deleted. Very surprising that it would be a mass shooting at a Christian school, given the lack of prayer is often blamed for these horrible events. Is it possible they weren't praying enough or correctly despite being a Christian school? There's a lot of Democrats who are also God-fearing Christians who say they are faithful. So is this really a partisan issue, or is it a political one?
You know, I think it's beyond that. Look, I mean, we've got a spiritual problem in the country, and Republicans and Democrats alike, they love to bring up God when it's convenient for them. Rarely do they bring it up when it's inconvenient for them. And a whole lot of people worship a God who says love their neighbor, and they actually hate their neighbor. We've got deep problems in this country spiritually. And I do feel like more and more and think the gun control conversation is almost a political solution for a spiritual problem, which means it's not actually going to work.
Expand on that for a second.
Well, so as you started your show, we've got mass shooting deaths around this country. We don't have them because people have access to guns. They've had access to guns for a very long time. In the last 25 years, it just seems like something else has shifted in this country. We've moved to a country where we don't actually communicate with each other. We build communities of interest online who look and think exactly like us, so we don't have to deal with the homeless man down the street who's actually our neighbor. And you ask people, are you your brother keeper? They remember the story of Cain and Abel. They say, well, of course we're not. Actually, yes, you are your brother's keeper, except nobody wants to be. We've lost a sense of community in the country, and that spills over into every aspect of our society, including gun violence.
So if we want to tie the beginning of the show together, we didn't plan this, but it's just sort of come to me, is that in some ways, the way that we are failing the mass shooters and what is missing in their lives to you is the same thing in the way that we are failing kids in the inner city that is missing in their lives and leading them to gangs and to the violence that ends up leading to killing hundreds of young kids every year.
Yeah, listen, and I'm not here to proselytize my faith. I am an evangelical Christian, but what I will say is that no one calls people to a higher calling in this country anymore. When the president stands up, regardless of party, he immediately goes to, well, it's the other side's fault, as opposed to how can we all be Americans? You've got left and right these days have a separate sense of what it means to be American, and they've decided the other side is their enemy as opposed to their political opponent. They're done trying to persuade, they just want to attack, and that spills over into the rest of society. Andrew Breitbart used to say culture is upstream from politics. Actually, it's a circle, and politics can be upstream from culture. And we're seeing our political entities rail against each other, never in search of a solution, but always in search of a vote.
I wish I could say I felt better after this, Eric. Feel smarter, not necessarily better. Good to see you, my friend, as always. Thank you.
Next week is Easter. There's always hope.
I like that. It's a good message. See you soon.
See you.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.